Maybe he's just being careful. Or maybe you're fooling yourself and he's never going to choose you. That's the sentence. Isn't it the one you run at 2 in the morning when he goes quiet again? He comes close and then he pulls back. He gives you warmth and then he leaves you guessing. So before anything else, here is the line that cuts through it. Careful has a direction. Stalling has a circle. Today, I'm going to show you 5 things a man does when God has truly made him sure of you, so you can tell the difference between a man moving slowly toward you and a man just keeping you close. Because a man who's genuinely praying about you can move slowly. Slowly is allowed, but he moves toward you. A stalling man moves around you and calls the circle a journey. Slowly is allowed. This isn't about speed, it's about direction. Watch. One honest word before the 5 though. This isn't a magnifying glass. I'm not sending you back to measure every text and every pause for evidence that's not discernment. That's anxiety wearing discernment's clothes, and it'll wear you down to nothing. And it's also not a rule that says the second a man hesitates, walk away. A good man taking real time in prayer is not the enemy here. We're doing something gentler than either of those, and clearer, learning to tell a man moving toward you from a man only moving around you. 5 ways it shows. The first thing that happens is that he stops keeping you as an option and starts treating you like a decision. You know what it feels like to be kept. To be the pleasant, maybe a man holds on to while his options stay open, warm enough to keep you close, vague enough to keep you available, never quite chosen and never quite released. And I want to be fair to him. That is not always cruelty. Sometimes it's just a man who honestly hasn't decided, and a man who hasn't decided keeps his options open because that's what undecided is. But here's what changes. When God makes you clear to a man, the keeping ends. You stop being one of the things he's weighing, and you become the thing he's chosen. And you feel it immediately, because the lukewarm goes out of the whole thing. A decided man does not keep you on a shelf where he can reach for you when it's convenient and set you back down when it's not. He takes you off the shelf. You stop being inventory and start being chosen. The second thing is that he defines it instead of leaving it in the fog. Hesitation lives in ambiguity. It survives on the undefined, the we're just seeing where it goes, the relationship with no name, the comfortable haze where nothing is ever promised, so nothing can ever be failed. And there's a reason it stays that way, a reason that's easy to miss. As long as it's undefined, he is never accountable to it. You cannot hold a man to a promise he was careful never to make. A man who has decided does the opposite of hiding in the fog. He walks out of it and puts language on it. He tells you what this is. He tells you where he's going. Matthew 5:37 says, "Let your yes be yes, and your no be no." A man convinced by God stops living in the endless maybe between the two, because that maybe was always a way of keeping both doors open. The undefined is where hesitation hides. Definition is where it dies. The third thing is that he moves toward you where people can see it, not only where no one is watching. Pay attention to where a man is willing to be seen with you. The hesitating man keeps you unannounced, not a secret exactly, but tucked into the private hours and the quiet corners, the places where he never has to declare anything to anyone whose opinion costs him something. And I want to show you the opposite of that, drawn as clearly as Scripture ever draws it. Look at Boaz. When he finally moved for Ruth, watch not just that he moved, but how. The night before, at the threshing floor, he had already resolved it in his own heart. Ruth 3 tells us what he told her. Plainly, if the nearer kinsman will act, let him. But if he will not, then as surely as the Lord lives, I will. Notice that he decided in private, but he did not stay in private. He didn't wait to feel more certain. He didn't need one more sign. By morning, and Ruth 4 shows us this, he walked straight up to the gate of the city, the most public place in the whole town, where the elders sat and business was witnessed and nothing could later be denied. And he settled it there, out loud, on the record, in front of 10 men. He put his name to her where his whole world could hear it. A decided man does not hide the woman he has chosen in the private hours and leave her wandering in the daylight. He walks her to the gate. The fourth thing is quieter, and I need you to stay with me, because it's the one people miss. He moves forward without demanding a certainty that only God can give. Every man, at some point, wants to be sure, and some of that wanting is wise. A man should want clarity before he binds his life to yours. But there is another kind of certainty a man can demand that no human being was ever actually given, a guarantee that it will all work out, the total absence of risk, a signed proof from heaven delivered to his hand before he'll take a single step. Beloved, that certainty does not exist, and it never has. Every covenant in the whole of Scripture was entered by faith, a step taken before the outcome was visible, a yes spoken before the ending was known. That's the whole witness of Hebrews 11. That's what faith is. And James 1-8 has a name for the other thing, the double-minded man, unstable in all his ways, and that instability is the theology underneath every man who cannot land. A hesitating man waits for a guarantee God never hands out and dresses his waiting up as discernment. A decided man moves in faith, not recklessly, not on a whim, but with enough clarity to act and enough trust to leave the rest in God's hands. He stops requiring a certainty that was never his to have in the first place. And here is where Boaz had a shadow, a man who shows you the same courage from a different angle. Look at Judah. For most of his story, he's a man who stands back, who lets things happen to his family and keeps his own neck safe. But when everything is on the line and his brother Benjamin is about to be lost, something in him finally moves. He steps forward out of the crowd of silent brothers, and in Genesis 44, he offers himself as the guarantee. Let me stay in his place. Let the weight fall on me. Do not let the boy bear it alone. That's the shift from a man who stands back and stays safe to a man who steps up and makes himself responsible. A man God has made sure of you does the same thing in miniature every day. He stops standing back and puts himself on the line for you. And the fifth thing is the one you feel the most, so I saved it for last on purpose. You know his rhythm by heart. You could set a clock by it, 2 steps toward you, and then 1 step gone. A week of warmth, and then a silence so complete it makes you wonder if you imagined the whole thing. The message that made your heart lift, followed by 3 days of nothing that make you feel foolish for letting it lift. The advance and then the vanish. And the cruelest part is that the advance is real enough to keep you hoping, and the retreat is real enough to keep you aching, so you live suspended between the two, never able to rest in either. And yet hear this, when God truly makes a man sure of you, that cycle breaks. This is the tell above all the others. He stops undoing his own progress. He doesn't spend Monday moving toward you, and Thursday quietly erasing it. He holds the direction. He doesn't advance and recede, until you're dizzy. He just keeps walking the straight line, steady, in daylight, without disappearing. And the day the receding finally stops, something in your body you didn't even know was clenched can finally let go. Because for the first time, you are not bracing for the vanishing. You get to exhale. You get to stop guarding your own heart against the next silence. Because disappearance is no longer the rhythm. Now I have to give you the honest part, and I'm going to give it to you as freedom, not as a wound.